So the gist of this panel is a little different from other ones. I'm lucky because of what I do in travel that I get to go out to eat with authors. Usually it involves drinks, plural, trust me. Sometimes it doesn't involve food, it's usually drinks, which ends up fun. But as a book lover, some of the stories I've heard have been fantastic. And I mean, authors that you would never think some of these stories, the way they talk about certain things. So what I decided to try to do, and we're gonna see how it plays out, is put two authors together and let them pretend, unfortunately without libations, to talk about whatever the hell they want to talk about. It could be the weather, it could be the rain, it could be how they write, it could be how you got in a bar fight. And if the conversation wanes, I'm pretty sure you guys might have a question or two that we keep it going. So gentlemen, I will turn it over to you.
All right. Could we have a topic, please? Pizza. All right. So I have a fatwa against Chicago's deep dish pizza. I cannot abide it. What are your thoughts on pizza?
There's only one true pizza from a chain called Minsky's in the Kansas City area. So, oh, thank you.
Yeah, I firmly believe that if it doesn't look like it came from a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie, then I'm not eating it. My pizza should never stand at attention. It should drip.
Pineapple on pizza. Listen, if it wasn't once cute, it doesn't need to be on pizza. That's my rule. That's my rule for meat in general. It needs to have been cute once, and then I like it.
Jim Butcher, keeping vegans in business for a long time.
No, I mean, I'm happy if you're a vegan. That's your path. That's fine. But
it's the wrong path.
It is. I feel that our ancestors fought for 250,000 years to get to the top of the food chain. We need to respect that.
There's something really to be said about continually reestablishing dominance over subjugated species.
So let's have another topic. Fire away. What topic?
Just about that to one of your books with Harry Rosen. What you just said as far as pizza and as far as being a meat gatherer.
Oh, yeah, vegetarian pizza should have dead cows and things on it because they're vegetarians, right? Yeah.
So I'll go with the next topic because I'm going to go with one of my favorite subjects, booze. Favorite drink?
Booze. Whatever's in front of me. I'd say it changes. I mean, you know, when I was 15, I would say it would be Sprite. And then as I grew older, I started liking Scotch more. And I'd say I've kind of stuck with that in Lefroy or Lagavulin 16.
Lagavulin.
Neat. If you can't smell it from 10 feet away, I don't want to drink it.
We're on the same page, my friend. Mr. Butcher.
Well, bearing in mind that I did not have a drink until after I met my fiance here a couple years back. My absolute favorite drink is Swedish cider. Swedish cider tastes like a really, really good draft cola, like craft brewed cola. Only it's not super sweet, but you can't taste the alcohol in it at all after the first swallow, so it's evil.
Sounds so sick.
It comes sneaking up on you, you know. So, but you know, I'll just depending on how much my hand hurts from signing, I'll drink whatever.
Yeah, one of my favorite things is when in Washington State they have a large meat culture for some reason. So they make a lot of meat because there's tons of apiaries there. And so my friend and I one time did a drive where we would pick up bottles of meat along the way. So we had like 10 bottles when we got back, because we were coming back from California. We didn't drink them along the way, but when we got back safely without drinking and driving, we had about 10 meat bottles I guess they're split for about 2 months. So I haven't drank meat since then, thank God.
I'll just keep that fun.
Yeah.
Favorite Star Wars villain?
Ooh. Thrawn, but he's totally not a villain. He's a protagonist for Order. Or No-Gree Death Commandos. I mean, they're great.
No, ever since Rogue One, Vader has regained supremacy after the, by the time you start playing Exorcist music when Vader shows up, they finally did Darth Vader.
That hallway scene.
Yeah, they finally did Vader right. That was what I wanted to see in Vader all along, just like unstoppable Juggernaut Vader.
Though apparently Princess Leia thinks that he has a very short memory for Juggernaut Vader, because they were on a peaceful diplomatic mission when he just saw them take off.
Oh, yeah.
Really gunship. Very disappointing.
Yeah, go ahead.
What's the coolest thing you've got to do since you've become a writer?
The coolest thing I've got to do since I've become a writer.
This panel.
Let me think.
I got to go to a NASA research facility.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of the cooler perks. Went to see Armstrong Test Facility, and you basically walk in, and people leave their cars unlocked because the car alarms go off because the sonic booms that are activating all the car alarms, so they have to leave their cars unlocked. There's little things to learn around, basically walking in the desert, and there's little fake cities out there that they created in order for people to live out in the desert. And so it feels like this very strange Stephen King novel when you go out there.
Did they ask you how to mine Mars?
I don't think they thought I knew much about science. But they said that they like that I don't even try. Because they're like, you just keep thinking it up and we'll try to make it. It's a great relationship.
Let's see, for me it was, there's one that's like cool, like kind of a generally accepted sense, but there's the one that I like most, which is we went to NASA and we talked to the guy who actually worked out the working physics for faster than light travel, which they think it's possible. They need a couple of ingredients they don't have yet. They think it's doable at this point. That we could build a ship that could do 10C without too much trouble, which would mean we could the whole solar system would be easy to get into. Which is very exciting, but he was explaining how it worked. And essentially, you have to have this ring around your ship. And the way he explained it was he took a tablecloth, and the way it would fold space was is like when you're pulling the tablecloth through the ring. And there's a lot more tablecloth going through this ring when you pull it through than there would be otherwise. And so he was explaining the spaceship design. You've probably seen the I Love Science article where it's got the picture of the ship and the big ring with the ship in the middle. And so I walked up to him afterwards with a piece of paper and a pen, and I'm like, okay, let me just make sure I understand this. And I drew the ring. So you have the ring of this material around the ship that space goes through. He's like, right. And I said, then you have your ship in the middle, so you keep your crew safe. And he says, right. And I said, and then, so then the most effective use of space on the ship would be to build out to the ring of the superconductive material and use that for all your storage and everything. And he says, right. And I turned it sideways, and it looked exactly like a flying saucer. And I said, like this. And he says, dude, I'm having enough trouble here. But I just want to know that you're an observant person. Which was cool. The other one was, I went to New York Comic Con, and I went out, it was when the show came out, and I went out to dinner with David Howe, who was the guy who was behind the Dresden Files show, and he also did Battlestar Galactica, and because he also did Battlestar Galactica, Gaius Baltar was at the table. Harry Dresden's actor, Paul Blackmore, was at the table, and Six was at the table. Trisha Helfer. And David Howe, Gaius Baltar, and Harry Dresden are Brits, and they immediately started talking football. And so I saw Trisha Helfer's eyes just glaze over as they did. So I had to man up and engage Six in conversation for the entire evening.
You're a true martyr.
Yeah. We swapped pet stories. It was very. She was depressingly down to earth as a human being. She's very.
She appreciates your sacrifice.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, right here.
What's the weirdest thing you've had to do as a writer?
There's no kids in the room. You're good.
Let's see, the ninth weirdest thing. Clarify. How weird do we want to go here?
That you can admit to in front of this many people.
My sister's in the audience, so I gotta keep it PG. Thanks, Blair. You were my excuse to procrastinate and like stall.
like lots of awkward things that happen. At least for me, because I write specifically for nerds, and we're all like just socially retarded. And so there's like awkward things, and that's cool. I mean, if you come up to sign with me, don't worry about being a nerd, because there's a really high bar you have to clear before it pings my weirdometer at all. Like, if you're not following me into the bathroom and continuing a conversation while I'm urinating, you don't make the list. You'll be fine.
After this, Jim is just gonna go to the bathroom.
But yeah, let's see. One of the weird, cool things that happened to me was okay, there's this little town called Fayette, Missouri. It's a tiny town. It's like 5,000 people, and then there's a tiny Methodist university there that's about 4,000 people. And so their library society though is awesome, and they invited me to come see them. And at the time I was like, I don't want to drive 3 hours in the middle of nowhere, Missouri, to do a thing. No. And so then they asked me again, and I said no. And so then they sent me a little photo album of their town and their beautiful little town with pictures of Bob the Skull visiting. And Bob was reporting to me that this town was awesome and I needed to be there. And I was like, man, you guys are really going to a lot of trouble, but no. So then I got a movie on DVD with like 60 different people involved that were showing Bob around the town and having conversations with him and so on. And the movie came along with a warrant for my arrest for grave robbing. And I'm like, okay, you know what? You guys are so stubborn, and I don't want any trouble with the law, so I'm going to show up. And so I showed up to their library society meeting, and in the middle of my talk, the sheriff's walks in with the arrest warrant for grave robbing, with a big canceled stamp across the front of it, framed, and gives it to me. And that's the one that hangs next to my desk at home. I got all these pictures that are like New York Times #1 bestsellers. Yeah, whatever. Those are kind of stacked up in a corner. That one's on the wall.
I'd say the one weirdest is I sometimes do strange research. Often, and I'm not saying I subscribe to like method school of acting or anything like that, but if I'm having trouble understanding what my character is doing in a situation, what they're thinking, etc., I'll sometimes try to put myself in that situation. Sometimes this doesn't work out for me very well. So I went into this, you guys know what deprivation tanks are? Mm-hmm. So I went into a deprivation tank. Thinking I was in this deprivation tank. So I signed up. You can buy certain packets, some are for 30 minutes, some are for 3 or 4 hours. And I think that I'm going to get myself a nice 30-minute soak in this complete dark atmosphere, environment where you're sitting in a saline solution and you're basically without gravity. That's the feeling it's supposed to give to you. But I start going a little bit insane because my sense of time gets a little bit thrown off when I'm in there. And then I start panicking because they shut the door on you. And I don't realize that my friend signed me up for the 3-hour. So I walk out with just psychosis. I'm that guy from a bomb shelter, the movie that comes out and be like, it's 2017. And so the entire time I thought this was like a weakness of character, and then I look at my clock and I'm like, oh, thank God.
Let's go right here in the back.
I'll stand up so it's easier for me. Speaking of research, have you all ever researched anything that you thought would get you blacklisted or on a certain list?
My friends can't use my computer because my Google search is so weird. The autocomplete function is a strange place.
Where can I hide a body?
Can you dig in a North Carolina forest in October, or is it too cold? How deep can you dig? And how deep do wolves dig? There's a line of causation.
What is the terrorist's favorite bomb? They're just all kinds of things. Yeah, I mean, when you sit down and write, because you've got to find out all the horrible things.